Those of you who have been watching the San Francisco 49ers play this afternoon, we welcome you to our telecast here from Los Angeles. We're not going to see the rocket, but we're going to see the missile at the start. Jeff Jaeger will kick this season off for the Raiders. Robert Smith, Robert Smith and Qadry Ismail, who closed the preseason with 2 splendid returns against Pittsburgh. One for 42, the other for 54 are the deep men. It is Ismail on the near side. And if you were Jaeger, who would you kick to? Well, this one is well short. Ricocheted off. Scramble for it. The Raiders have it at the 18-yard line.
Look at this now. Look at it bouncing. Follow the bouncing ball. You see, finally, the Raiders recover that fumble, and what great field position on this particular play. This is exactly like the way you'd love to start a football game, playing on a short field, and that's exactly what's happened for the Raiders.
Patrick Bates, the rookie. First series in the NFL was nothing less than a kickoff fumble return. And he watches as the offense goes to work. Those were the numbers last year for Hostetler. This year's preseason numbers found him completing 2/3 of his passes, and he'll roll on this one and go out of bounds. Hostetler is a great scrambler. Starting his continuation of a career with the Raiders attack, they have 5 new starters on offense. This year we put the faces with the names. This offensive line goes at an average of 6'5" and 294. Tim Brown out of Notre Dame, one of the key receivers for Art Shell's group. For the first time in 11 years, a rookie in the backfield at the start, Greg Robinson. Steve Smith and Robinson are in the backfield for this start of series.
You know, Robinson scored 28 touchdowns in college. He's averaged about 35 to 40 runs a game.
He was a bit of a surprise. And he's trapped for a loss on this one by Chris Dolman. 4 new starters on the defensive unit for the Vikings. Minnesota's defensive line is giving up 2 inches and 13 pounds per man. You saw Dolman's quickness. Jack Del Rio heading up the linebacking core. Busy day for Carl Lee and Audrey McMillan. They'll be watching Brown and Wright very closely.
We just saw a great illustration. They're undersized, the Minnesota defense, but they are quick and they are fast. And that was a typical reactionary play on the part of Dolman on the last run.
Nickel for Minnesota. J.C. Pearson is in. And Hostetler is back. Touchdown! Tim Brown for 6 from 17 yards.
That had to be a perfectly thrown ball, and it was. The coverage was excellent, Mike. It really was. But it was a great throw by Hostetler to Timmy Brown, right into the end zone, right in the middle of the numbers, and it's a touchdown for the Raiders.
An emotional start for this LA Raiders crew. Dan Turk will snap it. Jaeger put it through on the Gossett hold, and it's 7-0.
Brown is in the slot on the left side, number 81. Watch him. He makes the inside move, inside the safeties, and they don't get there quite in time, but the coverage was not bad. But the big key thing was the fact that the ball was thrown perfectly, and he had plenty of time to throw the football. Good protection on the play.
So now Minnesota has to pull it back together. Snake bitten on the kickoff. 3 plays, 18 yards in 1:26.
And the tough thing about the drive as far as Minnesota is concerned, they hold them for 2 downs and then give them the touchdown on a 3rd down and long.
Robert Smith will be deep again. So will the missile. Qadry Ismail. Well, this is not a full house. After you retool that $15 million cost some of the seats down, it seats 68,000. It's a half a house, perhaps better than that, but it's noisy right now. Jaeger got more distance out of this one. Robert Smith at the 5. To the 17. So Jim McMahon, bringing a 7-game winning streak as a starter over from Philadelphia, begins his Viking career. They have 6 new starters on offense, 3 on a changed offensive line with 22-year-old Everett Lindsay, the first rookie opening game starter on the offensive line in team history. The receivers, they go with 3 wideouts. At the start, it'll be Anthony and Chris Carter and Ismail. No Terry Allen in this backfield, but a wonderful runner wearing number 33 named Roger Craig. Starts from the 17 for McMahon. Roger Craig. And a loss. Aaron Wallace with the tackle. 7-time Pro Bowler Howie Long heads up a front 4 that averages 6'4" and weighs 286. But size has been pretty common with the Raiders on this side of the ball. 4 new starters on this defensive unit, including Joe Kelly, signed as an unrestricted free agent from the Jets. And the secondary, Lionel Washington entering his 11th year, 7th with the Raiders. Anderson, Hoskins, and McDaniel are all back from last season. 2 tights in for the Vikings, Steve Jordan and Mike Tice. Lone man in the backfield is Roger Craig. Motion man is Chris Carter. Lost ball, incomplete pass. Immediately signaled incomplete. Lionel Washington with the booming hit.
The official was right there. He was very definitive. He knew right away that it was an incompleted forward pass, and the ball is maintained by the Minnesota Vikings. Here you see it here. Watch this. He doesn't have control of it, possession and control, and as a result, it's a incomplete forward pass. Watch it. He's bringing it down, but doesn't have control. You got to have your feet down on the ground, control of the ball before it's a completed forward pass.
3rd down and 12. Ishmael, but off his fingertips. And the Vikings will have to punt. Early momentum is sometimes the best, and the Raiders have it.
Yeah, especially in the opening game. Both teams, would like to do everything they possibly can to win the first game. And this game is a long way from being over. But, again, when you score early, get good field position, why, it's a big advantage.
Harry Newsom, who led the league in punt average last year at 45 yards.
They might go after this.
Tim Brown, the return man. But it will come to Brown. Fair catch at the 39. A 45-yard punt. That's his average from last year. Well, it's good to see this man moving around well. Art Shell was hospitalized during the preseason with what was called type 2 diabetes. He doesn't have to have shots for that at all, but he lost 24 pounds, and he's decided 3 meals a day is better than 1.
Yes, and he feels very good. He said he's lost some weight. He's exercising a lot more than he did before he had that problem. And as a result, why, he's ready to go, and he feels very, very optimistic about this young football team.
Robinson and Smith in the background. Smith directly behind Jeff Hostetler. White was the motion man. Hostetler with a pass. Complete. Tim Brown with the catch.
I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Hostetler gives them a dimension that they haven't had in the past too much, and that is by moving the pocket. That time he rolled to his right that time, had good protection, got the ball on the money again, and that creates quite a problem for a defense, especially when they expect you to throw from the pocket most of the time.
Hank, another problem that offenses are having this year is that the time that they have to put the ball in play has been reduced from 45 seconds to 40. Get to that in a moment. As you see, they only need 2 and across the midfield stripe to get a first down. Vikings went early. Flags went flying. Chris Dolman and Roy Barker flew through. Johnny Greer, our referee this afternoon, 13th year.
Offside. 56. Defense. That's a first down.
First down play. San Francisco opens successfully against the Steelers and Green Bay against the Rams. When they announced that score here, there was a lot of cheering. Yes. The rivalry in the city.
And a lot of people, they proved a lot of people to be right with that score because everybody thinks they're going to be very good. And Kansas City really did a number on Tampa.
Big day for Joe Montana, although he had slightly injured wrist, just taken out with precautionary measures because of the lopsided score. Completed pass down to the 20. Ethan Horton, the tight end.
The key to this play, watch again the excellent protection of the Raider line. Look at this. He's got plenty of time to throw the ball with that fast surge by the Minnesota Vikings. The tight end goes right down the numbers, and he's wide open. Looks like they got him outside, inside with the safety, and the safety man in the corner throws the ball beautifully right on the target, and it's a big play.
Yeah, and he's fired, isn't he? A 32-yard completion. Across the 10 to the 8. Ed McDaniel with the stop. Well, when you have blocking up front like Gerald Perry and Steve Wisniewski, you have something. And interestingly enough, the Raiders were telling us a couple of days ago that their #1 priority in free agency was to get Gerald Perry.
And the first day that opened, they sucked him up, had a big vacuum sweeper, and sucked him up and signed him the first day. And you know how big that vacuum sweeper had to be to suck him up.
That's right. Timeout called by Hostetler. Now, when you have an adjustment from 45 seconds down to 40, Hostetler was telling us a couple of days ago that he wants to have the team out of the huddle at 20 because Minnesota makes so many changes defensively.
Well, it's very important, you know, that you have at least 12 seconds at the line of scrimmage for the automatics, the change of the play and motion and all the things. You need at least 12 seconds, and that's what they're shooting for.
.65 to a -2 on offense. Steve Smith.
See, that's the one thing that's tough to do against Minnesota. You see that play was designed to go inside. They force it outside, and when you run sideways against the Minnesota defense, they're going to meet you. You're going to have a reception committee out there when you reach close to the sideline, and that's exactly what they did. Did a super job of reacting, and Jack Del Rio, the middle linebacker, was also there helping out on the play.
Ed McDaniel was the other tackler, so they hit him with about 480 pounds. 3rd down and 2 from the 7. 7-0, the Raiders ahead. Motion man is Brown. Hostetler threw over him, and it's intercepted by Bensie Glenn. Glenn brought down at the 10, but now it's the Raiders with a turnover.
You know, I'm surprised at that call, and it's easy to say that, but you got 3rd and 2. You got 2 downs to make 2 yards. I'm surprised that he threw the ball there, especially from the pocket. Watch Dolman go inside and Randall go outside. That's a stunt. See him go to the outside. Now watch Dolman come up with the hands, get a piece of the ball. The receiver was really open, but the deflection was the key. Bensie Glenn intercepts the ball, and now, of course, the Minnesota Vikings have possession 1st and 10.
Jordan and Tice, the 2 tights for Jim McMahon. Fake to Craig, but right up the middle with the carry for the Minnesota Vikings was Roger Craig.
I think that was a sucker play. They pulled the left guard, McDaniel, and then they gave the ball to Greg right behind him, hoping that somebody would chase. They did. There was a cavity right straight ahead. He took advantage of it and made a nice gain on the play.
4th leading rusher among active players in the NFL, Roger Craig. Tice was in motion. The give to Craig again. Wanted to get to the 20, but was 2 yards short. Joe Kelly nailed him.
Watch the middle linebacker, Joe Kelly. Watch him now. He's moving over. Now watch him. He sees the gap here. Look at this. And look at him quickly make a decision, gets into the gap, makes a good tackle, a little high, but he got the job done and stopped him from making the first down. A great play by Joe Kelly, number 57.
Ismail back in for the Vikings. 3rd down and 2. Vikings trailing 7-0. Just over 8 minutes to go, first quarter. Craig was hit and down. Joe Kelly sniffed it out. And another drive has been shut off.
And watch Kelly again, number 57. Look at it. See, he's got great anticipation. As there's a gap, he sees the cavity and jumps right through there. No hesitation whatsoever. Makes the stop, and now it's a kicking situation for the Minnesota Vikings. Really a great hit and a great play by Joe Kelly, number 57.
Father watching here today, former CFL player. Harry Newsom puts it in the air. Tim Brown back. No fair catch this time from the 30. He moves it. Crosses. There are flags flying. Brown to the end zone. But we'll wait. 51-yard kick. 70-yard return.
You could tell that Timmy Brown saw something happen or felt something happen as he was going down the sideline, anticipated to put it in the reverse and go back to the spot of the foul. Let's see what they call.
The officials have pulled away from the rest of the pack. They try to get at least 15 yards away from everybody to have a conference, as they're doing right now. The sense in the crowd, and I think also with Art Shell, is that this thing is going to go
illegal
against
block
the home squad.
During the kick on the receiving team.
Penalized the Raiders on the field, but not on the scoreboard.
Okay, here we are. Raiders 7-0 over the Minnesota Vikings. And here's, watch this now. Watch the return, and watch on the left side of your screen. Watch Andre Bruce, number 56, blocking it. See, he gets his hand in the back, gives him a little massage in the back, and he's called for a clipping, blocking from the backside, which is a good call. And as a result, that run by Timmy Brown was nullified. Raiders 1st and 10.
Hostetler working on a great day so far. Just over halfway through this first quarter. Starts it out from the 25 with a pitch. Flag is thrown. Hauled down was Greg Robinson by Vince Glenn.
You know, I'm surprised to see the Raiders trying to go east and west, sideways against this fast, quick Minnesota Viking line and linebacker crew. They've tried it twice and haven't succeeded. You would think that their approach will be, or should be, and probably will be, as they go along in this game, to try to stick it at them because they're a bigger, stronger football
89,
team.
Offense. Still 1st down.
I don't know if you believe in omens, but going back from the start of the 16-game schedule, the teams that have won on opening day have a great tendency to wind up making the playoffs. Well, these are the winners today.
Surprise, Green Bay, you know, they didn't play that well in preseason, but they really give a lump to the Rams, 36-6. And Atlanta's another surprise. I thought they would fare better against Detroit than they did, 30-13. Kansas City, you expected that, and Denver won big against the Jets.
Most prominent free agency teams were Green Bay and New England, with 8 each over the course of the summer. As the pitch comes to Steve Smith, gets to the 25.
Screen pass. That's the first screen I think they've thrown so far this season. Did their preseason games and never threw one at all, and it's a good call in that situation.
Jack Del Rio's the guy who made the stop. It was a 10-yard gain, but they're still well short. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Jack Del Rio bringing even more fire to the gridiron this afternoon, because this is where he used to play. USC. Was also a tremendous baseball player here at catcher. Plan B a couple of years ago, and what a wonderful plan it turned out to be for the Vikings.
A lot of room on the outside, especially to the right side.
Ethan Horton. Pickup of maybe 5 on that. Del Rio was the guy who got him. So it now becomes 3rd down and about 4.
And timing the Raiders in the huddle and getting back to the huddle with a 40-second clock. They're getting to the line of scrimmage, and they have about 10 seconds to do their business and make any changes in automatics at the line of scrimmage, which is good, but they like to have about 12.
From that famous Montgomery family, Tyrone, number 21, is in the backfield directly behind Hostetler. This play won't even be run off. Seen a lot of flags flying. Bruce Wilkerson seemed to pull.
And that time they had a blitz on Minnesota. Del Rio was blitzing on the play.
68 offense prior to the snap. Still third down.
Those are the plays that kill you. Those kind of mental mistakes where you're offside. And especially in this part of the field. You don't like to happen any place, but especially in this part of the field.
You think these become mistakes of emotion? Because the Raiders seem really fired.
Well, I think emotion and anticipation, too. You say they're trying to get a jump on a defensive person. Sometimes they're premature and they jump.
Nickel from Minnesota. Hostetler's pass is complete. Looked like it was short of a first down. Willie Gault was the man who made the reception. Tackled by Carl Lee, about a yard short.
And that's what they said, you know, playing against the great speed of the Raiders, the defensive backs are playing somewhat soft, but they want to make sure that they're going to be, the receiver will be in front of them all the time. So if they do make the catch, they can make the hit and knock them backwards. And that's exactly what he did on that last play. Very good play on the part of the Minnesota Vikings.
Eric Gulliford is back to receive. Jeff Gossett to kick it. Anthony Parker has been one of the key guys on punt returns, but he is sidelined from the contest today. Had a knee problem. Gulliford chased all the way back to the 8. And down. No flags on this play. Minnesota back to the offense when we come back.
All right, watch Patterson here. Watch Patterson right there. Watch him here. See the hit from the back. Now he's starting to roll, number 24. He gets hit by Patterson. It looks like 43, and that was a problem on the play.
It was around the 9. They're setting this up at the 4. Charles Evans, number 29, in the backfield. They had hope that he could get about 50 yards on the ground today.
They should wind up with good field position here again. I'm talking about the Raiders. If they get the ball back, another penalty on the play.
Man, oh man. You don't normally expect this much in the way of penalty flags on opening day, do you? I mean, it's been through such a long preseason anyway.
Well, this is against the... Looks like against the Raiders.
Well, there were times when the Raiders were guilty of penalty yards that they were proud to take because they nailed guys and made sure they didn't finish the game, and so they considered it a trade-off for 15 yards. But this is not that type.
Well, year in and year out, for a long time, while the Raiders were the most penalized team in the National Football League. But they like that personality. They like to create the feeling that they were tough, hard-hitting, and they would do anything within the spirit of the rules, but they got involved in a lot of penalties.
4 of them for 35. First and 10. Evans again. Maybe 1, maybe 2.
See, that time they had a double tight formation to get ahead on everybody. Kelly is a very emotional player. He wound up in a little push and shove contest there, but it was one of those boys will be boys things. Nothing seriously was done on the play.
Anthony Smith, 4-year man out of Arizona. Part of that front wall. Seattle ahead of San Diego in the first quarter of their game. Second down and 7.
Minnesota does a good job of changing formations. Now they got 2 backs.
They are Evans and Craig, but they're not called in this time. McMahon flushed out, but he's got a first down on the slide. And a flag thrown afterward. That'll be Raiders again. Winston Moss and Anthony Smith are the 2 who made the stop on McMahon with the slide.
And it used to be, there's a great illustration of of experience on the part of the quarterback, McMahon. Look at this. Now, he goes back in the pocket, sets up, and he sees a cavity on the left side. Now, look, he runs up. In the past, he used to lower his head and try to get through the pack. Now he's sliding very wisely, and he's going to last a lot longer with that kind of an approach than if he tried to run through people. Now, look at this.
Oh.
Winston Moss, number 99.
Now, see, that was Raiders of old there, Hank.
Yeah.
You remember that in Kansas City.
Oh, very
You used to yell at him, right?
Very, very vividly. Well, that's right. No, I never bothered the officials, though.
Just the other team?
Not unless I had to.
Well, it is a first down and 10 from the 40. Derek Tennell, 46 in the backfield along with Charles Evans. Now it's Evans alone, and Tennell winds up flanked. McMahon going long. Just too far for Ismail.
That was a good call. Play action on 1st and 10. They like to destroy the tendencies as much as they possibly can. He had a chance for that one. He was just a little bit too long and falls incomplete. Good coverage on the play also by Washington.
So the first one thrown at the missile.
And that's what happens a lot of time when you're throwing to an extremely fast guy. You want to make sure that you get it there, and sometimes you throw it a little bit too far, just like it was thrown on that last play.
Chris Carter out to the right. McMahon with a little flip. Charles Evans with the carry. Enough for the first down. And down to the 40. And so the Vikings have it on the move.
Beautifully executed screen pass that time from play action. Watch the play action now. Look at the fullback. Fakes inside, and then he goes out to his left, takes his time. Lineman out in front. The ball was thrown a little bit too low, or else he'd have got down the field a little quicker. But in spite of that, he still got down the sideline in great shape with the ball away from pressure and picks up the first down on the play. Great execution.
21-yard gain on that. Just inside the 40 is where they'll get it started.
Minnesota's averaging about 9 to 10 seconds on a line of scrimmage in case they have to change the play. Gives them plenty of time, but they'd still like to have about 12.
J.C. Pearson, by the way, has a sprained right knee. We're not certain if he'll return. Roger Craig, the lone man in the backfield. The give and the smear. 81 by 91. Chester McLaughlin, all 310 pounds of it, in on Anthony Carter.
Chester McLaughlin, watch the penetration he gets here now. Look at this. There he is, coming from the backside. Puts him in the vise. Beautiful play by Chester. Number 91.
So it becomes a second down and 16. Big tackles like that can often pick up a team that's been guilty of penalties, as the Raiders have been on this drive.
Yeah, they're very capable of making big plays, just like he made on the last play.
This time it was Chris Carter in motion. McMahon looking for him, but he'll carry himself. McMahon up past the 30 and run out of bounds. That may be enough for a first down. They mark it at the 29, and that looks like it will be enough. Terry McDaniel is the guy who ran him out.
See, there again, there's a great illustration of confidence, experience. Back in the pocket, he looks, and then he sees, makes a decision very quickly, decides to run with the football, and gets the most out of that play as he possibly could. And now they have good field position again. Great play by Jim McMahon.
16 yards on that gain. Ismail out to the left. Roger Craig, lone man in the backfield, and McMahon decides he wants to call a timeout. Latter stages first quarter. Minnesota down by a touchdown. Jim McMahon and Jeff Hostetler have both had strong starts this afternoon in the first quarter. Hostetler found Tim Brown from 17 yards for the only touchdown, and that was on a turnover off the opening kickoff, a fumble by the Vikings.
And really, then, of course, the Raiders had a chance to get another score, but Glenn made the interception on the tip ball by Dolman.
First and 10, 29. That's Roger Craig hit once, fell forward for about the line of scrimmage. Howie Long in strong on the tackle.
See, Long that time, normally he's a left end. That time he was a left tackle, and Smith played the left end position. And it worked out nicely. Had a mismatch on Todd Callis.
End of the first quarter from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Raiders 7 and the Vikings nothing. The All-American from Notre Dame, Tim Brown, 5-year man, has the only touchdown of this contest. He's had some strong receptions, and of course he's also one of their punt return men. Featured receiver on this squad. Jeff Hostetler went right to him quickly once they had the scent of the end zone on the turnover in the very opening kickoff.
And the great thing he did was he delivered the right package on 3rd and long. And Minnesota did a super job of stopping him on the first 2 downs, and he came back and hit the touchdown to Timmy Brown right in the end zone.
Dennis Green wanted to get a lot of work for Charles Evans. He's done it. Evans is in the backfield right now. Derek Tunnell and Steve Jordan also out. Chris Carter in motion. McMahon is back. Look for Tunnell. Chased out, trying to scramble loose, and throws the ball, but out of bounds. Anthony Smith is the man who forced the rush. Keep in mind that a passer, while out of the pocket and facing an imminent loss of yardage, may throw a pass that lands near or beyond the line of scrimmage without intentional grounding being called. That's new this year.
And the referee is the only guy that can make that call. It's under his discretion, his judgment totally. You talk about the hound and the hare in that trouble area there. He finally got rid of the ball. And there again, it's a great illustration of the great poise and confidence he has. He knew exactly what to do, threw it out of bounds, and goes incomplete.
3rd down and 10. Fake to Evans. McMahon rolling out. So no. Attempted for Anthony Carter. Terry McDaniel with the coverage. And it'll be 4th.
Good pressure again by the Raiders to get him out of the pocket and have to try to throw downfield on the run. This is a big, strong defensive line of the Raiders and a very quick, capable offensive line, outstanding offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings.
This would be 46 yards if Revesz can hit it. He had a 50 in the warm-up. But he didn't get it from 46 this time.
I talked to Quad on the field before the game, and I said, anything special do you think about before you kick the ball? I think about nothing. Just kick the ball. That's all. Just kick the ball.
Raiders 7, Vikings nothing. Just getting started in the second quarter from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. $15 million spent in the renovation process to get this ready today. It was actually ready for its first football endeavor yesterday when USC played here. But you see some of the more distant seats have been covered. You used to be able to get 90-some thousand in here, and the capacity has been trimmed down to 68,000. 2,400 sit in that Pirate Pavilion at the end zone that you just saw. But they've done a good job. They had to lower the field 14 feet and then build it back up another 3. And they have added 14 rows of seats, so they're very close. Brown's 17-yard reception, the only score we've had so far.
I hate to go down the field now because I'm just about 2 inches tall. I've lost about 6 feet.
Steve Smith and Tyrone Montgomery in for the Raiders, and the pass comes out, taken by Horton, and he's down at the 33. Todd Scott on the coverage.
Again, you have to be impressed with what you see from an offensive standpoint for the Raiders. The pass protection has been very, very good.
You know, the one thing that we saw in talking with both teams, Friday the Raiders and yesterday the Vikings, you look in the eyes of the guys you asked about Hostetler and about McMahon, and you can see, boy, they're coming strong for both of these guys. They think that the whole team chemistry has really changed just with the addition of the 2 free agents at quarterback.
I don't think there's any question about that. That's the atmosphere that prevails on both teams.
And the atmosphere we've seen here in the first quarter and now into the second has been one of many flags, most of them against the Raiders.
Ball start. Prior to the snap, number 89, offense. Still second down.
Second down and 11.
Look at all the room on the left side, the left receiver over there. See if they throw to him. No, they don't.
There's the Brown. Out at the 35.
See, both corners were a little soft that time, so he had a pick of either to the left or the right, and he threw in front of the left corner, and as a result, pick up a nice gain into play. Watch it now. It's a quick shot. Again, protection is good. He's got a good slot to throw the ball in. It's just a hitch pattern in front of the defensive back, Lee, and he makes a nice gain into play.
Willie Gauld in the lineup now for the Raiders.
And Willie Gauld has caught a lot more short balls than he has in the past. Normally, he was a fadeaway guy. Now he's catching the ball short, and they're doing a good job of it.
Let's see if it's a short one this time. Oh, Hostetler escaped once, but not the second. Chris Dolman with the sack. It was Henry Thomas in first.
Okay, watch Dolman now on the right side, number 56. And then they got a blitz coming inside. Look at the inside blitz. And really a great play by Carlos Jenkins, who is blitzing on the play, number 51.
Career sack number 77 for Chris Dolman. Eric Gulliford will be back for Minnesota to take the punt. 37. 35. So Minnesota to go on offense again. They still need 7 to get back even in this. Early stages of the second quarter from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Early in the second quarter here at the Coliseum, Raiders 7 and the Vikings nothing. Full slate on opening day. The byes don't begin for another week. San Francisco a victor today. Jets wound up losing. Boomer Esiason had a big day, but to no avail. Denver by 6. Pretty good field position for the Vikings to start with. And McMahon goes long. Wanted Chris Carter, but it's intercepted by Washington.
Trying to hit Chris Carter on a play-action pass. You know, there's a great illustration. They had the ball 6 times on first down prior to this one, and they ran every time. That was a good call, but he had to move around the pocket, didn't throw it long enough, and, of course, was intercepted there deep down the field. Watch it now. Look at. See, he has to make the adjustment, and he has to set up again to the left side, tries to throw it deep down the field. But the ball is intercepted, it's underthrown, intended for Carter. And now the Raiders have possession, 1st and 10.
Washington had 2 interceptions last year. This is the 29th of his career.
And Washington is their veteran back there, does a very good job, especially on man-for-man coverage. Look at all the room on the left side, the outside receiver. See if, he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. See what he does. Straight ahead.
How much of a gain on that? Todd Scott made the tackle.
I tell you, Scott really did a super job of filling that hole and making the tackle in the line of scrimmage in the backfield. The one thing is very important for Minnesota. They cannot wind up with 2nd and 5 or less. It has to be 2nd and 8 in that category, and then they got a good chance. They got to hit him and knock him backwards. They cannot let him get into a 2nd and 5 situation.
Well, it is 2nd and 8 right now.
This is what they want.
3 minutes gone, second quarter. 1 touchdown in the game. Hostetler to Brown for 17 yards early in the first.
Look at the pass protection.
This one went to Andrew Glover. They're marking that short of a first down. Ed McDaniel with the coverage and the tackle.
You know, sometimes you wonder about, why they throw the ball where they throw it. That time they were in a zone defense, and that's a vulnerable spot on the zone in the middle area. They throw the ball in the middle, but didn't make enough yardage for the play.
Isaiah Jenkins is in as the nickelback for the Vikings with J.C. Pearson hurt. 3rd down and a yard.
Left side, look at the left receiver.
Quick to Brown. First down at the 45, he's taken down.
There he is. He's in the slot that time. Popped right open. There again, the middle was open. The outside receiver also had plenty of room, but he chose to take the high percentage kind of a pass and throws the ball to Timmy Brown on the play. Now look at the left side of your screen, and there he is. Timmy delays, comes inside, and knows exactly what he has to do to make the necessary yardage for the first down, and they move the chains on the play. That's the thing Hostetler does so well, and so does McMahon. Both of them have the great capacity to make sure they find the open receiver and get it to him.
Tim Brown, strong, courageous guy, takes a lot of passes over the middle and third down play similar to that one. Bolton tries to turn, picks up about 3.
To Greg Robinson.
Hostetler 10 of 11 so far on the afternoon for 108 yards.
2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line.
Guy 32 years of age, would you still need that confidence builder in the opening game, or are you so seasoned that now if you have a bad quarter, it's a bad quarter and you wipe it out? Now, he hasn't had one. But is this a real concern for a veteran quarterback like Hostetler or like McMahon?
You know, I tell you what, you can't win. I don't care what you do or what you play. You can't win if you can't forget. The good quarterbacks might have a bad quarter, but they very rarely will ever have 4 bad quarters, and that's really the difference between the good ones and the so-so quarterback.
Well, he went diving for the sideline. Pickup of about 5 on the play. Roy Barker was closest to him when he left.
And there's another illustration of how escapability is so important in today's football because of the substitution situation, and also the great players on defense. If you play with a quarterback who can't move, and there's a gumshoe back there, you're playing 11 against 10. When he starts moving around and letting the grass grow a little bit, then you got 11 against 11, and you got the situation you like to have.
Well, these two guys have scrambled well today. 3rd down and 4 from the midfield stripe. Willie Gault. Enough for a first down.
See, the thing with Willie Gault, when the defensive back sees him lined up there, they start backpedaling because they're afraid of that speed. And as a result, in the past, they haven't done this very much. They still try to outrun the speed of the defensive backs. In this particular case, he's back there a little bit. Gault takes off like he's going to go deep, stops in front, picks up the necessary yardage for the first down. And that's the big thing that's so important with the Minnesota Vikings. They say, we'll let you catch in front of us, but we're not going to give you the big play.
Carl Lee said that, and he was the one who made the stop. And he also said he was backpedaling when he got off the plane yesterday because he knew what kind of an afternoon it would be. Steve Smith across the 35. Good long first down gain, so Tony Dungy, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, wouldn't like this. This is not one of those 2nd and 8s or 2nd and 7s. This is going to be 2nd and about 5.
Well, the great thing about the middle of this offensive line of the Raiders, Wisniewski, the left guard, Mosbar, and Montoya, boy, they're a snootful. They come off the ball. They're big, strong guys, and they move the pile.
Ed McDaniel out, Fred Strickland in. Linebacking position for the Vikings.
They might run left if they run. There they go.
Good call, coach. Flag has been thrown. Greg Robinson got it down to about the 25. Carlos Jenkins with a stop. Another one against the Raiders.
Those are tough calls. They're legitimate calls, but they really slow down the offense.
Despite the scoreboard, it seems like the momentum for this game's up for grabs now, especially once the Raiders get something going. They seem to take penalties. They do so when Minnesota's got something going and help them out, too.
Well, these two teams are great competitive teams. They have a lot of pride in what they do, and I guarantee you, there's no quit in either one of these two teams. They're going to keep dancing until the music stops.
So on the hold, it's 5 back, and that'll make it 2nd and 14. Big front wall. And the size is, in terms of weight, is one thing. That's a 294-pound average line, but 6 feet 5, too. Hostetler back. Complete. It looked like the juke didn't work for a moment, then he lost his footing and then got tackled. Pickup on that is going to be about 5, but it's still 3rd down and about 7 or 8. Greg Robinson was the man who received that.
This guy's going to be a terrific back. A rookie coming in here starting like he has. They expect great things from him. He's got good speed, he's strong, and he breaks tackles very, very well. Along with that, they can split him out of the backfield just like they did on the last play and throw a pass to him, and they pick up good yardage on the play.
3rd down and 7.
It's a passing formation, usually pass screen, straw. Here it is.
Trips loose, and he's diving for the 1st down. Izell Jenkins stopped him, but not before he had made the 1st down across the 30.
See, this is what you love. The linemen love this because they know even if everything isn't perfect, this guy will somehow, some way. Look at the rush. They have a stun on, which opens the middle area. You see, he gets out of the grass. It's just a grab. He sees where he has to go, dives head first, and makes the necessary yardage for the 1st down. But a very good reactionary play by Hostetler.
Just under 6 minutes to go, 1st half. Raiders and Jeff Hostetler ahead in the game by a score of 7-0. Play is stopped here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. We'll return in just a moment. We've seen a little of the missile today. Now we see the rocket. Raghib Ismail out of Notre Dame and Toronto of the CFL.
We talked to him yesterday. Very refreshing guy. He's very eager to play for the Raiders. But he was a little bit concerned had he had to play, as I mentioned earlier in the show, because of the numbering system and the plays. He was afraid maybe he'd make some mistakes and hurt the team.
Horton in motion. On the money for a 1st down. Jack Del Rio with the stop on Alexander Wright. That's his 1st reception of the afternoon, and that's a surprise. We thought they'd be going to him a little bit more.
Well, you know, it's very hard. He's got such great speed. Those defensive backs are almost in the tunnel. He's not going to get behind them, but they're throwing in front on that last play and on a play action pass to hold the linebackers, and did a good job with it, made the catch.
They are proud of their speed here in Los Angeles. Alexander Wright, 2-time fastest man.
Yeah, they're going right up the middle. How good he did a job there. Not much room at all, and again, it's fun to watch this Minnesota Viking team react defensively, but because they're not overly large, but they're overly quick and very fast, and react very well to what they see. And as I mentioned earlier, they're coming all the time.
Steve Smith got a couple before Todd Scott stopped him. Smith remaining in the backfield.
Look at Thomas with that crooked stance. He gets as close to the ball as he possibly can. Look at his left foot. Looks like he's offside there.
On the money to Brown on out at the 2, and another 1st down. Check us on that. That was Ethan Horton. A 14-yard gain on the pass to Horton.
And he was wide open on the play. Looked like he ran out of the bleachers. He was wide open right about the 1-yard line or 2-yard line on the play. Here we see it again now. He goes back in the pocket, and he throws over to the left side. Look how wide open he is. He breaks to the outside. It looked like he really had a chance to, had he run the pattern a little bit deeper, it would have been a touchdown.
It is that time. Greg Robinson, the rookie. Game 1 and touchdown 1. Second of the day for the Raiders.
They're going to have to get a vacuum sweeper to suck that ball out of his arm when he gets to that sideline. He's going to keep that one. Here we go. Look at the surge by the Minnesota defense. Straightening up some of those people, but in spite of that, he goes through the pile, and it looked like Montoya got through there in good shape and got a block. Number 65, the right guard, got enough of a push to provide running room, and he was able to see that crack because he ran with his head up and his eyes open.
It is Gossett, and it is 14. (14-0) the score. Latter stages of the second quarter. Art Shell pretty happy with what's happened here. You know, driven guys like that oftentimes do skip breakfast as well as lunch, and they wind up with bad eating habits, and especially you throw travel in too. And Art was saying, I just have been doing it wrong all these years. Sometimes you get up and your mind races before you think you need to fuel that body. Well, he's got it systemized now, and he's got his team systemized here this afternoon.
Yeah, he's got to be very happy the way this team played. And talking to him before the game, he said, I feel good about our team and about the way we'll play today, but it's a long way from being over.
Robert Smith from the 9. Out at the 23. Well, the second scoring drive of the afternoon for the Raiders that has put them ahead in this game 14-0. Covered 13 plays and 72 yards, and they worked the clock pretty well on it too. 8 minutes 34 seconds. And in a place where you can be the toast of the town pretty fast, Jeff Hostetler with a splendid start. 4 for 4 on that drive.
You know, talking about Art Shell like we did a moment ago, he's taken his team to 2 playoffs in the 4 years he's been here. This is his 5th year, but he's done a terrific job, and they want to come back and get to those playoffs again.
Roger Craig, the lone man in the backfield. Right through the middle, caught by Chris Carter. And that is close to a first down. It may actually have crossed the first down marker. We have a flag on the play, though.
Good protection on that last pattern.
Raiders again.
Holding.
Good start for the 49ers.
48 defense.
Powerful start for Green Bay.
First down.
You think with Detroit's offensive line having been rejuvenated, that'll also help Barry Sanders?
Oh, I think so, and I think plus the fact that they've added a different look to that offense. They're not strictly a run-and-shoot team anymore. They also are using a lot of the Washington Redskins stuff for the sledgehammer attack, and that's helped them tremendously.
1st and 10. A sack by Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith, very emotional player, very quick, very fast. Led the team in sacks last year with, I think, 13. This year, while he's off to a good start, he had a couple of them in preseason.
Flag this time on Minnesota. Lost drop was about 5. Well, this is not the way Dennis Green wanted things to happen.
Formation on the offense. The right tackle and the right guard lined up in the backfield. It's declined. 2nd down.
You know, that happens so much of the time. They're trying to get an edge with their pass protection blocking, so they get back a little deeper to give them a little bit more time to read the defensive tackle and in. And that time they get caught. A good call on the part of the official.
2nd and 15. 3:20 left in the first half. 14-0 Raiders. McMahon chased again and dumped it off. It's near the line of scrimmage, and he was out of the pocket. But Aaron Wallace was the man who made the big rush.
And it didn't look like anybody touched Wallace on the blitz. Aaron Wallace, number 51. Great anticipation on his part. Got a good jump on the quarterback on the play.
It's kind of fun to play what ifs. If the rule is not in effect, might be looking at a grounding call there.
But if the rule hadn't changed, he probably wouldn't have thrown the ball like he did.
3rd down and 15. Chris Carter in motion. What'll he do? Intercepted. Terry McDaniel. Touchdown. No flag. 36 yards. 20-0. Anthony Smith was the man who applied the big pressure on McMahon.
And there's a great illustration of what happens when you don't have time to throw the ball. It was a bad throw. He shouldn't have thrown it, really, because it had nothing on it.
Jeff Jaeger puts it through, 21-0.
There we go. Look at the hound in the hair. Look at Smith coming in there from number 94. The ball is thrown high. McDaniel makes the interception. And he's thrown the ball to the missile, intercepts the ball, touchdown Raiders.
McMahon has told his team, you give me 2.3 seconds, that's enough. He didn't have it there.
Well, he said yesterday, what about your offensive line? He said, I don't worry about the offensive line. That's their responsibility. If they give me time, which they've done a good job of, then I'll do something with the ball. But if you don't have time to throw the ball, I don't care who you are, why, you're chasing around back there, why, you're going to have trouble.
A lot of people thought that Minnesota, being the reigning division champion and having added McMahon, would come out of the blocks well. They did recover from the flawed opening kickoff, even though they yielded a touchdown. Snowed under here in the second quarter. Robert Smith in the end zone, and he'll wait.
But here again, that's typical with a sledgehammer team like the Raiders and a hit-and-run team like Minnesota. They're very fast, very quick. They strike quickly and hope they can get some off-balance plays in for quick scores. But the pounding they get from a big team takes its toll as the game goes on.
108 guys went the free agency route. Here are two of the more prominent ones and their numbers so far for the day.
Yeah, and that's something. Look at Hostetler, 14 of 15, and one bad one was an interception. He's doing a super job, but he's got great judgment. And again, some of the escapability things he did was outstanding.
Just under 3 minutes to go. First half, 21-0 Raiders. Went the short route, did McMahon, for Chris Carter.
One thing you got to be careful of in this part of the field, you got to be careful that you don't make a mistake in your haste to try to get your team something before the half, and in the process, make a mistake and provide the other team with an opportunity to get another 3 or another 7.
Well, they're hustling for it. Complete to Steve Jordan.
And they're going to make him take the bus. They're not going to let him take, the jet in this situation. They're going to keep them all in front of him, let him throw the ball, take time off the clock, and make the tackle. That
is not a first down reception. He is third and about a half a yard. Pitch back this time to Roger Craig, and he doesn't get there. Mike Jones with the stop. The Vikings will have to kick it. Revolting development for them. A lot of noise at the Coliseum. It's gone pretty well for Jim McMahon, except for the reception, but not for his team. They really haven't had that good a field position, have they?
No, they haven't. They've had 6 possessions, and only one time of the 6 were they outside of their own 20-yard line. They've been in the soup. They've been in the goulash most of the time.
Newsom will try to boot him out of it. Tim Brown just waits. At the 22. One juke. Into the 30.
Illegal block. Number 56 on the return. First down.
They mark it at the 20.
Well, that's the second penalty by Andre Bruce. They got one timeout left, talking about the Raiders.
Minnesota still with 2, but they'll need the ball first. Whopping total of penalty yards for the Raiders this afternoon, but a whopping total on the scoreboard, 21-0. Greg Robinson for 3. Ed McDaniel this stop.
I tell you, that Minnesota defensive line, the linebackers, they react very quickly to what they see. That last play was a great illustration of the gang tackling and good pursuit by the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, when you're giving up so much size, you have to have that quickness, and that was something that Dennis Green told us as much as a year ago. He said, I'd like to be bigger there. well, in terms of average, is only about a pound bigger on that defensive line. You just can't make those improvements overnight.
Well, there's one thing, you said it's a tough situation, but, it's tough. The tough situation is they have a small line.
Well, it looks like this one's going to be on Minnesota's. Barker got in quickly.
A slow line with no speed. Then you're really in trouble.
You ever coach a team like that?
92.
No, thank
defense.
goodness.
Still second down.
Well, it's still a second down play with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go now. Not a good quarter for Minnesota. Last year, history told that their best quarter was the fourth, but it has to be Herculean if it continues to go like this with a 21-0 Raiders lead. 1:07 to go. Second quarter, along with Hank Stram, Mike Emmerich. Glad you've joined us on CBS from the newly revitalized and redecorated Los Angeles Coliseum.
Another good reaction on the part of the Minnesota Vikings, but they expect them to pound them and try to take as much time off the clock as they possibly can. They got a one-on-one situation on the left side they have in the last 2 plays. Let's see if they try to do something with a high percentage factor and try to get the ball down the field a little bit faster.
I've got a 3rd and 1 coming up here. Now, if you're calling the plays, what do you say?
Well, they're going to bang it in there. I would think they'd bang it in there and get the yards. Get the first yard. One thing they don't want to do is take any chances.
Well, they've got some bulk up there now with Horton and Glover and Todd Pete in the lineup.
Looks like they'll run right if they run. We'll see if they do it. Nope, they're going left.
Robinson has the first down across the 35. Andre McMillan with the stop.
That time they broke the key. Normally when the backs are leaning a little bit to the halfback is ahead of the fullback, they're going to run to that side. That time they were a little ahead. He was a little ahead, Robinson was, and in spite of that, he went to the other side, which breaks the key.
The Raiders love it, and so does the crowd. The end of the first half with the home team ahead, 21-0.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. Head and Shoulders and Head and Shoulders 2-in-1 because great hair can't have flakes. The Principal Financial Group, the financial company that gives you an edge. And by Brute, men are back.
What you're about to see in the NFL United Way Series this year is a look back over the past 20 years. I was playing for the Los Angeles Rams, and I brought you one of the first NFL United Way public service spots in what has come to be the largest and longest-running series of its kind in television history. Over the years, the National Football League teams, players, and owners have brought you the stories of how United Way works in your community to help people who really needed your help.
A lot of things have changed in this country, but not the character of the people who made this country great. And that's what United Way is all about. A simple, honest, and organized way to help one another. United Way preserves the best traditions of caring that have made this country great. With volunteer leadership, United Way is changing so that we can all have hopes and dreams for a better tomorrow.
United Way, helping where help is needed most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
The biggest sale of the year is happening Sunday and Monday at Smith's Home Furnishings. It's Smith's Labor Day sale, and you'll find the biggest selection and the best prices on furniture, appliances, mattresses, computers, oriental rugs, and electronics. Plus, Smith's most outstanding finance offer. No down payment, no monthly payments, and no interest for an entire year. Shop extra hours, 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Sunday and Monday. Don't miss the sensational Labor Day sale at Smith's.
There was an old lady who lived in a shoe. A fresh little crib, you know, and brand spanking new. And that shoe let her do things that no man could do. She jukes and she cuts and stops dead in her tracks. She prance and she spins, leaving chumps on their backs. And who gets the credit? Some mother named Goose. Check you out, yo. Converse, of course. And that new React juice.
Nationwide warehouse! Nationwide warehouse!
Don't
Don't touch that remote. We're trying to get your attention. You only have 3 days left to take advantage of our low, way low prices on wall-to-wall living rooms, family rooms, lamps, tables, bedroom suites, chests, and stacks of nationally advertised mattress sets. Okay, now you can use that remote. Hurry in and see what you've been missing. At Nationwide Warehouse, phone 255-1550, 255-1550.
Greg Gumbel, Terry Bradshaw back with the action from earlier today at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Chuck Noll trying on his Hall of Fame ring. Great day for Chuck. Good day for Steve Young of the 49ers.
Good play action, man-to-man coverage. Jerry Rice gets outside in the flat. Young, nice job of finding 3 touchdowns today by Young.
Meanwhile, at Milwaukee, Green Bay all over the Rams, 36-6. Edgar Bennett, 11-yard touchdown run, 1 of 2 for him for the day, and Green Bay a winner in its opener. In Pontiac, Detroit, 30-13 over Atlanta. Wayne Fonts a winner. Barry Sanders just give him the ball.
90 yards rushing today for Sanders. Once again, Greg, the ability to cut back against the grain. This is a 26-yard TD run for Sanders.
In Philadelphia, the Eagles over the Phoenix Cardinals. Garrison Hurst, 2 of his 3 yards rushing on that play there. But Vaughn Hebron had a better day for the Eagles.
Nice job, Buzz Hebron, the rookie up inside. Good job today by Hebron. Good job by Cunningham and the Eagles defense.
In Tampa, what a day for Joe Montana.
Oh, man, 3 touchdown passes. Joe's back. Joe's back.
Meanwhile, he had to leave the game in the third quarter, hurting his wrist right there, hitting a helmet. He came back. X-rays were negative. Jim Gray asked him about the wrist after the game.
Oh, it's doing fine. It's just it was a little sore and it was a little weak initially, but they just wanted to check. They took me in for X-rays just to check and see if it was anything was broken, and it was negative. And I probably could have gone back in, but they told me I was done.
Kansas City and Joe a winner. At Giant Stadium, ex-Jet Dennis Byrd walks onto the field before the game to the applause of the fans. John Elway, though, got most of the plaudits after.
Well, we said on our pregame show that John needed to grow up. It looks like John heard us. Had a heck of a day, 20 for 29 and 2 touchdown passes.
Denver a winner by 6. At Buffalo, Bill Parcells in his debut, but Jim Kelly did most of the damage.
Most of the damage in the second half, Greg. Not a really spectacular day with a lot of yardage, but 4 touchdown passes by Kelly and a great job by Reed here of catching and breaking tackles to score.
Buffalo off to the races. The Indianapolis Colts hosting Miami. Dan Marino, 1-yard touchdown pass in the final 35 seconds to Greg Beatty. Miami wins at 24-20. And at Cleveland, David Klingler. Just a tough day for the youngster.
Well, he started out well, Greg, but his pass protection breaks down. Here's a fumble scooped up, 22-yard return by Stephen Moore. There it is, 27-14, Cleveland over Cincinnati.
The team that finished 4th in the AFC West last year has 21, and the team that won the NFC Central has nothing. Hank Stram, what did you think of that first half?
Well, I think it basically what happens when a big team plays a smaller team, you know, and I think the Raiders have kind of taken advantage of field position. That's been a very, very important factor, and the turnovers really have made the difference.
Well, one of those resulted in a touchdown. Terry McDaniel has never had an interception return for a touchdown before this game this afternoon.
Well, here we see it now. They throw it out in the flat. They force McMahon out of the pocket, and he throws a ball, nothing on it whatsoever. McDaniel makes the interception, and there you see him go for the touchdown with Ismail trying to make a tackle, but there's not enough room, and he goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
Let's check out some of the other numbers besides the 21-0 on the scoreboard and see what these passing yards in particular tell us.
Yeah, well, the Raiders are, you know, very obviously way ahead in that department, 139-37, and from a quarterback standpoint, see, look, the quarterback, really, Jim McMahon, has not had time to throw the football. That makes a big difference, and it's especially tough when you don't have good field position. On the other hand, Hostetler has been very accurate, just like he normally has been in the past. He's done a terrifically outstanding job, but in conjunction with that, he's had a lot better field position, and he's had much, much better pass protection, and that's really what it's all about.
Well, when you consider the number of times that McMahon has had to scramble today, that's also a real attest to what the Raiders have been able to do defensively.
Well, that goes
coverage
back,
has been good.
Yeah, well, that goes right back again to the pass protection. He hasn't had that good pass protection, and at this stage of his career, why, you know, he doesn't scramble nearly as good as he used to either, and that's a factor. Hostetler does that much better than Jim, and so when he has a chance to do something, why, I think Hostetler has taken advantage of it much better because of his talent in his youth compared to what Jim McMahon is able to do after he has to escape from that pass rush.
The only injury of significance in the game this afternoon, J.C. Pearson has a sprained left knee, cornerback for the Vikings, and he will not be back in the contest. Alexander Wright on the far side, Greg Robinson on the near side to receive the Revez kick. It is Robinson in the end zone. Across the 20 and out at the 31. Dave Garnett is the man who pushed him out.
Robinson, he's got to learn when he's running to his left not to carry the ball in the right arm. That's where the pursuit is coming from, and that's what creates all the fumbles. He was running down the left sideline with the ball in the right arm instead of his left arm. If he gets it and falls out, it goes out of bounds. The other way, it'll fall on the field of play, and he's got a problem.
Raiders put it into play with a 1st and 10 from the 31. Robinson and Smith. Split backs. Now, as a defense player, does that tell you anything when they split the backs like that?
Well, they like to throw the ball from the split backfield. Now he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and let's see what he does. The corners are coming up a little bit, trying to change the look of the coverage.
Pitch back went to Robinson. Jack Del Rio smelled that play out well.
And there again, we keep talking about it, mentioned it early. The worst thing to do against this Minnesota team with the talent that they have and the speed and quickness is try to go outside. The best thing is to go at them and throw play-action passes rather than try to spend too much time going east and west. That time was an illustration of the tackle by Del Rio.
That has been a strength of Hostetler's, not only in his career, but particularly in this game this afternoon. His first as a Raider, 2nd and 9. His team ahead 21-0 early in the 3rd quarter. It is Steve Smith. He has the first down, and was he ever hit by Todd Scott.
But I tell you, Smith is tough. It didn't bother him any at all. You see him jump right up, said something, and bounce right back into the huddle. He's a good player. Watch the hit here. Look at the hit right here. Here it is. Boy, that's a hit. I tell you, but he maintained good possession of the ball, held on to the ball. That's what's so important. That kind of a hit, a lot of times you lose possession of the ball on the play.
First down. Carry by Robinson. Picked up about 3. Carlos Jenkins with the stop. Hostetler's passing today just superb. He's only had 1 that hasn't been on target. 15 for 16.
And that was tipped.
61, that's right.
And the bad one was a tip ball.
Carlos Jenkins, the big man out of Michigan State.
This is going to be tough. You see, that as big and strong as they are, you know, in this heat like it is, it's easy to wear a smaller team down, a fast, quick team like the Minnesota Vikings.
Robinson again. Ed McDaniel stopped him just short of the 50. This will be 3rd down. Looks like it'll be about 4. You were mentioning that tipped pass, Hank, and you were also hearkening back in our conversation yesterday to that was one thing that the old Minnesota Vikings used to do a lot with their front 4. Tip passes.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were such great leapers. Carl Eller, you know, and Marshall, they were very, very outstanding leapers, and you had to make sure you blocked them. If you didn't block them, you were in trouble. They knock a lot of balls down. You never got the flax up at all with those 2 great players.
3rd and 3. Tyrone Montgomery's in the backfield, and he has it. Wants to turn, cuts back, and he's got the first down. Bensy Glenn with the tackle. Max Montoya led the blocking.
Montgomery's going to be a super back on this football team. He played at the University of Mississippi. He's got good speed, good quickness, good receiver out of the backfield. He's going to be something special.
Well, it goes with the genes, doesn't it? Wilbert played for the Eagles, Clee for the Raiders, and Fred tried to make the Eagles this year, did not make the final cut, but was good enough to be considered.
Well, we're talking about the jeans, and we're not talking about the blue ones he wears either.
See Steve Smith directly behind Hostetler.
Counter play.
Montgomery thrown for a loss of about 3. Roy Barker read that one well.
Yeah, he got penetration. There's no chance whatsoever. That's what stops that sideways stuff. Any kind of penetration, you're out of business. Watch Barker now, number 92. See, they're going outside. Watch this. And there he is making the tackle. Good reaction on the part of Barker, number 92.
How about a loss of 4, 2nd and 14 from midfield. Alexander Wright open in the middle, but the pass goes for Brown. Shakes from 1, but loses the ball. Tyrone Montgomery was the intended receiver and had it, but it popped free.
You know, the Raiders have been very efficient on 3rd down. They're 6 of 9 on 3rd down situations, which is very strong. Here we see the replay. Watch it. He doesn't really have good control. Then he finally puts it away, but it got scraped out of there. You see, that's what happened. He just didn't fumble the ball by accident. It was scraped out by the right arm. I couldn't tell who did it, but a good play by the defensive people of the Minnesota Vikings.
3rd and long. And that's where the pass heads, and it's enough for a first down. Alexander Wright made the grab. 18 yards, that one covered.
Boy, you talk about throwing a ball out of a hole. Look at it. Hostetler did a fantastic job of getting this ball to Wright. There was good penetration, and in spite of that, he threw right over the top of everybody and made the completion to Wright. Terrific throw by Hostetler.
Boy, Gerald Perry provided some wonderful blocking, and Ethan Horton, too.
Hostetler is 7 of 10.
Steve Smith. Negligible gain. Let's check out some of the other action around New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Mike, at Soldier Field in Chicago, rookie Myron Baker bursts through. Sean Landetta's punt blocked by Baker, picked up by Baker, 26 yards and a touchdown, and the Bears lead the Giants 14-9 in the 3rd. Back to Mike and Hank in Los Angeles.
The Bears are going for their 10th consecutive opening day win. Looked for a while like it might not be in the cards, but they're up now.
Oh, yeah, they're going to play hard, and they got a very good coaching staff. They'll do a good job there, I guarantee you.
Hostetler was hit, but got it away and completed it. Ethan Horton. Looks like enough for the first down as well.
Carl Lee is really upset, but that ball hung up there a long time because he got hit a little bit on the pass, but Horton made the catch.
Hostetler is shaken just as he let it go.
And that's when you take the big hits, because you're all spread out. Your arm, you have no protection whatsoever. You get a shot after you throw the ball. Why, it can be, it smarts a little bit, I'll guarantee you.
As they tend to Hostetler, we take leave, but just for a moment.
All right, here's Hostetler going back into the pocket. And watch, he gets hit. It looks like Del Rio, number 55. We'll take a look at it here, coming into the picture. There you see him on the left side. Now watch.
Oh, it's hard to tell. I don't know if it was Jack that got him or not.
No, it's hard to tell. It really is at that angle.
11th play of this drive, and Vince Evans is the quarterback now. We should tell you that Hostetler was able to jog off the field on his own and seemed all right. Whistles have been blown. This play will be called back. Everyone has stopped. We have no signal of a touchdown at all. That was Greg Robinson. But the whistle had been blown back around the 30.
You know, the other thing that's a very, very important factor in this game so far, time of possession. Raiders 25 minutes and 43 seconds to the Vikings 10 minutes and 23. You can't do much if you don't have the ball.
Hostetler is fine. Vince Evans, the 38-year-old veteran, 14-year NFL performer, was in for one play, and it was a busted one. 2nd and 17. Steve Smith, Tyrone Montgomery in the backfield. Alexander with a little motion. Looks open. Hostetler going long. Another first down.
Tim
Brown.
And And also great protection for Hostetler. Now watch Timmy Brown on Lee. Lee gets outside leverage, which means he's getting some help from the inside, but nobody comes into the picture. There it is. Oh, he's not in bounds. Didn't look like he was. Didn't look like he had both feet in bounds. But let's take another look at it. Yeah, he's out of bounds. Look at the left foot. Right?
3rd and 17. Right. Little toss over the middle to Montgomery. And he is down at the 23. Jack Del Rio made the stop.
I tell you, Hostetler has a terrific feel for hitting the open man, regardless how much depth it is. He finds him and dumps the ball off and keeps the chains moving. Watch now. Look at the hit he gets again. See, he gets another shot, knocks him to the turf.
It'll be Jeff Jager to try it. Gossett will hold. No good. 41-yard miss, and so it remains 21-0, just over the halfway mark of the 3rd quarter. The Raiders in the lead in this one.
Okay, back to Los Angeles, 21-0. Here's Jager's kick. Watch his left foot. It's pointed to the right. It's not pointed for the goalpost. Look at it, and that's exactly where he kicks the ball.
21-0 Raiders. McMahon starts with a Roger Craig run. Boy, he pulls his way across. He got a first down. Anthony Smith finally made the stop. Roger Craig with an impressive run, and so it'll be a first down for the Vikings. You know, you were pointing out that field goal attempt, and we were just thinking the other day about how common soccer-style kicking is. It was Pete Gogolak was the very first one to come into the NFL as a soccer-style kicker, but you were an old straight-on kicker, weren't you?
No, when I was a school alumni, I did all the kicking. No, I was. Back in those days, I never heard of soccer stick.
Little pass ahead. Oh, completed for a gain of about 8 to Steve Jordan. Mike Jones got him. Position in the field has been one thing you commented about earlier. You can see this in the first half where they were beginning play.
Well, you talk about being in the soup. That's murder to have that kind of field position consistently throughout a game, and also with the kind of rush which provides a strong rush on the opposition from the opposition because of that field position.
Roger Craig, the lone player in the backfield for the Vikings. Why not try him again? And he's got another first down. Mike Jones with the tackle as Craig got to the 48.
Well, they're going back. They probably said, listen, what we do best is run the football. We got to run the football if we're going to win this game. And it's a long way from being over, so I think they're going back to that formula, and so far they're doing a good job of moving the football. But that's what, talking to Dennis, he said, we've got to be able to be successful running the football, and we got to be good defensively if we expect to win.
Ismail in motion. McMahon looks for him. Broken up. Strong play by Winston Moss.
Vikings are only 1 for 5 on third down situations. Great coverage by Winston Moss, number 99, who played his collegiate football at the University of Miami in Florida.
Some impressive days for quarterbacks today. We had mentioned Barry Sanders earlier. He had a good rushing day. He has to see his whole life open up for him again with an offensive line in front of him in Detroit.
Well, when he doesn't have a good day, you really got to scoop. He's a great runner.
Roger Craig again. Boy, what an effort to get his way down to the 45. He must have had 3 with him. But it was Chester McLaughlin, along with Aaron Wallace, who brought him down.
Third quarter, look at this. Bears 14-9 over the Giants. San Diego 12-10. Everybody expect them to be a good football team, but look out for Seattle because they are a very good team defensively, and they're going to be much better offensively with a new young quarterback from Notre Dame. Meyer.
3rd and 3. Saw big Chester McLaughlin, number 91, waiting for this.
See, the linebackers are shifting positions. They should have snapped the ball instead of waiting for them to get set.
4:46 to go. Third quarter. 21-0. Jim McMahon's squad behind in this one. Hostetler and McMahon the starters, and they are still in this game for their teams. McMahon as a starter has been superb. He carries a 7-game win streak into this game, but look at his record, except for San Diego. Impressive. Chris Carter is open, and he's got it. To the 33. Minnesota is now on the move. A 12-yard reception for Carter. Lionel Washington made the stop, and first down for Minnesota.
Well, we talked about this earlier. There's no way in the world this team is going to let down. Dennis Green has done a great job at his coaches with this team, and they're going to keep fighting and hanging in there tough. Look at this. Delayed pattern inside in the middle area. It's wide open, and Washington makes the tackle, number 48.
Try it again. Roger got at the 27. Mike Jones forced him out. It's like a pickup of about 7 on that one.
All right, watch Roger coming out of the backfield. He sees the defense. He's going to the sideline, and the ball is right there at the numbers. He makes the catch and is finally knocked out of bounds there.
They call it a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Any numbers you throw up on Roger Craig from this year or from past years always seem to reflect well. He's had a good opening day. Vikings as a team have not. Chris Carter. Enough, it appears, for a first down. Torin Dorn defending. It is a first down, so McMahon is moving them well right now.
Yes, he is. And watch Carter out into the flat area. He's plenty far away from the sideline, but he's very cautious to make sure that he has both feet in bounds.
Pretty impressive for the Raiders. The road back must come in short, choppy steps. This may be what McMahon is engineering now.
You ought to be able to throw the ball in the middle with his coverage the way it is. Let's see what he does.
Yeah. But the ball is knocked loose. It appears to be recovered by the Vikings. Chris Carter is the man who wound up with it.
That's the vulnerable spot of that defense where the safety's going outside. The corner's coming up a little bit. You got to be able to throw the ball into that area. Watch it coming in there. See right by the numbers. Hit from behind by McDaniel. The ball pops loose, but they still recover. Alert play by the Minnesota Vikings.
Looked like Derek Hoskins was the one who knocked it free, but it's first and goal from the 5.
They might run right here if they run. Let's see how they're lined up here. Let's see what happens. Nope, now they're going the other way. Whoa!
Smeared was Charles Evans by Eddie Anderson.
Anderson, the safety blitz. Boy, did he anticipate the call, Greg. This is why it's so important offensively to make sure you change the rhythm of the count. He looked like he was on offense the way he came across the line of scrimmage. Watch him come across the line of scrimmage right there and make the tackle. Here we get another shot of it. He had no chance whatsoever. You didn't even see Anderson coming through there, and he makes the tackle in the backfield. Beautiful play by Eddie Anderson.
Didn't look like he was touched by anyone on the way through.
Looked like a screen pass.
67 yards on this drive. Minnesota doing well so far despite the loss, but they are down 21-0. Long way to come back. So far a good stride. Well, Jim McMahon, I think on this last series, Jim McMahon called timeout because of the noise that was coming from the Pirate Pavilion.
I was just about to say that because that's exactly what happened. That new pavilion there, they were in there squeaking and making a lot of noise, so he had to call timeout.
Second and goal.
Looks like something this way if they do it. Nope, they're going to throw the ball. Whoa, the backside. Fumble.
Greg Townsend with the hit. Nolan Harrison with the recovery. Another turnover for the Vikings.
Harrison got good penetration. Number 74.
Nolan Harrison with his first fumble recovery.
All right, there you see Townsend, number 93. We circle him and watch the rush. He makes the play, then Harrison, number 74, comes in and recovers a fumble. Look at the push he's getting. There's the fumble. Harrison picks it up and gets tackled from the backside, but possession for the Raiders. First and 10.
Adam Schreiber is the one who made the tackle. The 101st sack for Greg Townsend. Leads the AFC among active players in that department. Of course, Lawrence Taylor has the most of anyone in the league. One pump, and he's got a man overthrown. Boy, I thought he was going to go for Steve Smith, who really appeared to be open, but Darrell Hobbs was who he was headed for. Audrey McMillan with the coverage.
And there again, a great illustration of pass protection. He looked to his right, made a pump, and he had still plenty of time to look to the left, throw the ball. That was the first bad ball he's thrown all afternoon, except for the one that was tipped, and it wasn't his fault. Drive for the Vikings, 6 minutes and 16 seconds, the longest one of the game for them so far.
Well, that was a lot of valuable time to use and come up empty. 21-0. The Raiders ahead. A minute 35 to go in the third. A leaping escape by Hostetler, and he staggers forward to the 33. Jack Del Rio made the eventual stop.
You talk about a guy that really has a great feel for pressure. Watch again. Watch Hostetler back in the pocket. He gets a good look at Dolman on the outside. See, he steps right in between the defensive end and linebacker and finds the cavity and keeps the drive alive. That's how important it is to have escapability. Look at this. Look at this. Hops over the top. Sees the hole. Del Rio is trying to make a tackle. He gives them a little juke on the play. Picks up a nice gain.
3rd and 3.
Here he goes again.
Well, he's got the first down at the 40 before Jack Del Rio was the one to cover him. Well, he's had a lot of good days in his career, but this kind of a start with a new franchise coming in as a much heralded free agent has to be something out of your dreams. 21-0, latter stages of the third quarter, and individually a great day.
Well, the sad thing about it is New York, even though he helped win this Super Bowl game a few years ago, it was still kind of a Phil Simms team. You know, in regards to what he did, it wasn't really enough. This is going to be great for him to get a new personality, new opportunity, and he's going to make the sparks fly here in Los Angeles.
Final 8 seconds of the quarter. Greg Robinson on the carry.
Smith, number 35, the fullback, made a good job, made a good block on the linebacker on the outside.
That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Raiders 21, the Vikings nothing. Our coverage will continue after this from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It may not be full, but it's noisy. Great day for the Raiders so far. 3 quarters played, and they're up 21-0. Not only have Hostetler's numbers been magical in terms of completing passes, he's rushed 5 times for 28. Saw for a brief moment the veteran Tim Irwin. Split backs. The motion was Galt. Complete, but short of a first down to Willie Galt. Little stings, little short patterns.
Take a look at Joe Perry. Make a Perry. Get Perry on this. A great block by Perry. Okay, look at underneath. Galt going in underneath the coverage. Everybody's dropping off. He squats in the hole. That's where the soft spot was. That's where the void was in the defense, and makes the catch. Great block that time by Perry on Dolman. Terrific block.
3rd down and 2. Montgomery to the 40. More than enough for a first down, an 11-yard carry. Todd Scott with the tackle.
He should have got more out of that play than he did. He kind of stumbled, lost balance, and fell. Here it is on the rerun. Look at the right guard pulling. Good block. Montoya makes a nice block out in front. He cuts back, but he loses his balance. and falls down. But a nice run by Robinson. A great block by Montoya, the right guard. He used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, the speed was something Minnesota knew they had to be concerned with. Aside from their own turnovers, the speed has hurt them. And so has Hostetler. Robinson didn't get far that time. Jack Del Rio was there.
Boy, that's a good hit by Del Rio. That was a counter play. Made it look like they're going to the right. Pull the right guard, Montoya again. He goes through the hole on the left side, which created a little gap for Jack Del Rio. He made the hit. Beautiful shot by Jack Del Rio, number 55.
That's his 15th tackle today. You know, 2 years ago, he led Dallas in tackles, and remarkably, he was available.
Well, it was amazing, you know, because he was drafted by the Saints, and nobody could figure out why they let him go. Then he went to Kansas City, and they let him go. Then he went to where? Dallas. He went to Dallas, and again he got let go. Now he's here, and they like him very much. Look at this.
Hostetler scrambling almost enough for a first down. Esarachuolo made the stop.
And the Raiders are 10 of 13 on third down situations, and a lot of those were created because of the running skill and ability of Hostetler. Look at this. Look at this. They got another stunt. Del Rio is blitzing on the play. Watch. Now he waits long enough for everybody to drop out of there, makes a good move, makes some guy miss the tackle. I can't tell who it was, and he picks up yardage on the play. Look at Perry. Look at Perry. On the other side, they double team on Barker, and they do a good job of containing him.
They only need 2. Didn't see a flag, so apparently the Raiders did get the timeout in before the clock ran out.
This is where they made a mistake the last time when they were going in early in the game. It was 3rd and 2, and instead of going, they got 2 downs to make 2 yards. They throw the ball, it was tipped, and of course they got themselves in trouble. Let's see if they do the same thing here. I would guess that they smash it in there to try to run the ball for the first down. They got 2 downs to run, make the 2 yards. Let's see what happens.
Well, it's changed to 7 now because it was a penalty.
Yep.
On the delay of game.
Okay.
Now it becomes a passing situation at 3rd and 7.
They're in close coverage, bump and run.
Hostetler with some time this time, got it out to Willie Goff and down at the 28.
There again, Lee, you see, the thing he talked about yesterday, we got to be careful. We can't let him get behind us. We got to let them make the tackle, make the catch, and then punish him when he makes the catch. But in the meantime, it's another first down.
Down 21-0. This is no time to take any more chances on defense, really, is it, for the Vikings? See the clock, the enemy of the Vikings now, 11:10 to go, 4th quarter, Raiders 21-0. Smith and Robinson in the backfield. The give is to Steve Smith, and he is the power guy going to the 25. For an NFL Today report, here's Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Mike, we'll take you to Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Giants use a little razzle-dazzle, the flea flicker. Phil Simms, 40 yards to Mark Jackson, who will take the dive into the end zone. 17-16, Bears by 1. Now into the 4th quarter. Mike?
Sam Weish isn't the only one with the fancy plays. Dan Reeves had one in his book, too. Second and 7.
This is a run, play, action, fake. There he is. A run, play, run left to the tight end side. A good push on the left side. They really very, very high on Gerald Perry, number 71, the left tackle, and justifiably so. Watch him on the left side, 71. They like him. He looks inside. Now he gets a shot on Dolman to the outside, but his responsibility was really to the inside, and he made that adjustment. But he's a terrific tackle, and Art Shell said if he doesn't make All-Pro this year, they ought to have an investigation.
Pretty close to 300 now are the Raiders. On the scoreboard, they lead 21-0. 9:40 to go. 3rd down and 2, and the pitch back to Montgomery. He's got it.
Option play by the quarterback, Hostetler.
Chris Dolman shoved him out. It appeared to us to be enough for a first down, but they're pretty careful about marking it across the way.
But it was a good option play. A very well executed option play. Let's look at it again. Option meaning he'll come down the line of scrimmage and pitch the ball to the outside. There you see him. Montgomery, number 21, who comes in on third down situations as a receiver, and also he's an outstanding runner. Played his college football at the University of Mississippi.
Ran right for the marker and made it. It'll be first down for the Raiders when we come back. This game summary is sponsored by Michelin. As you see Hostetler's numbers, keep in mind that last year the Raiders as a team had less than a 50% completion record for their quarterbacks. This guy's 21 for 24. Minnesota with 3 turnovers. Passing yards solidly, the Raiders, and the scoreboard says 2. 21-0.
Well, they started off with a bang right off the bat with the recovery of that fumble, and they never slowed down one bit. They got a little shock on the interception where they could have gone ahead 14-0, but they recovered nicely from that and have controlled and dominated this game from that time on.
There's a lot of concern about the heat yesterday. Yes, it is hot. Temperature in the 80s down on the field, probably a little warmer than that. We only bring that up because Chris Dolman has left the game, appeared to be winded on the last play. Now that thermometer just took a little bit of a turn. Well, I think that may be the wind blowing it. It says 78, but down on the field it's probably close to 90.
The defense of Minnesota Vikings has spent a lot of time playing defense here this afternoon. I guarantee you that.
3 tight ends in for the Raiders.
They like to run right if they send a guy in motion. Here they go, boys.
Greg Robinson across the 15, but not much further. Esra Tuolo was the first of the Vikings to get him.
Another great illustration. Look at the push on the right side. Guard pulling on the play. Good block on the linebacker. Back cuts back inside and picks up good yardage on the play.
You think they're just wearing them out, Hank?
Oh, I think so. No question about it. That defense has been on the field as good as they are. They've been on the field for an awful long time. The time of possession, the comparison is dramatic in favor of the Raiders. Look at that catch.
It doesn't appear to be enough for a first down. Greg Robinson nailed by Fred Strickland. So it's going to be 3rd and short.
This is a fantastic performance on the part of that young quarterback, the new quarterback, Hostetler.
You know, Hank, Hostetler's ability to scramble and the way that he's done it here, does that tend to wear down the confidence of a team like Minnesota that's so quick to get back on you?
Well, that's right, because, you think you have him in the pocket, and you think you got a sack, and the next thing you know, he's running for the first down. Last time, see if they run right across the formation. No, they're running left, even formation again.
Robinson has the first down. Got to the 6.
The defense has been Minnesota. We talked about the difference and why they're tired. They've been on the field for 34 minutes compared to the defense of the Raiders for 15 minutes.
Good point.
Big difference.
Scoreboard.
That was another good key breaker on the last play. The backs were even, and usually when they're even, they're going to be leaving to the right, to the side of the fullback. That time, they broke the key and went to the opposite direction. Good job on the part of the coaches.
Scoreboard clock shows 7:25 to go in the 4th quarter. In all Raiders, 21-0. Smith ahead across the 5, got to about the 3. So it'll be 2nd and pay dirt. Harris and Del Rio teamed up for the tackle. Hostetler looking over to Art Shell and to the coordinators for signals. Is there much in the way of signal stealing that goes on like in baseball, Hank?
Oh, yeah. I think whenever you have the opportunity, there were times, in the past where we'd have a guy up in the press box taking a picture of the guy giving the signals. Okay.
2nd and goal. They've marked this at about the 3.
Boy, they ought to run left here. They got a good advantage over there. There it is, boys.
Robinson.
Oh, a great play.
Vincey Glenn threw him for a loss.
Vincey Glenn, really, it looked like that was the place to go. He came up and made a beautiful tackle. Can't tell what he did. It looked like he might have turned his ankle. Look at, they're going to the left side, and Glenn, watch in here now. See, he does a great job of warding off the blockers and makes the tackle.
Number 35, offense.
Well, you saw Steve Smith in that replay, and he was called for holding, and so that'll put this goal-to-go situation back on the 14. Things change quickly with a key addition, and that addition, as shown today, has been Hostetler. Last year, the Raiders averaged 162 yards a game passing. They're approaching 225 today. Second and goal from the 13. He went Brown, but the pass went across for Ethan Horton, who caught it at the 4. He was looking right to Brown, and it looked like Brown had a step on the defense. But instead, he went for Horton.
You know, that was a big league throw that time because Horton is a big target, and he got the ball in that situation. You can't throw the ball above the shoulder pads. You got to throw it at the numbers, and that's exactly where he threw it. If you throw it up in the air, there's always a chance of a misplay and a tipping drill and an interception. And you throw it at the numbers. If it's incomplete, it's usually going to go right down to the grass.
Tyrone Montgomery, the lone back for the Raiders. 5.5 to go in the fourth. 21-0, trying to make it 28. Jack Del Rio got a piece of that one, but could not intercept. It was intended for Brown.
There again, that was a bad throw. He threw that ball falling away. He had pressure, but that ball almost was intercepted by Jack Del Rio, number 55. He's really done a terrific job here this afternoon. Watch him now, on the left of the screen. Look at Del Rio looking. There he's watching the quarterback's eyes and comes in there and causes the receiver, Timmy Brown, to miss the ball.
Jaeger with Gossett to hold and Dan Turk to snap it. 21 yards. And 24 points for the Raiders. 5:23 to go in the fourth quarter. All Raiders continue. 24-0. 70 years old is this Los Angeles Coliseum, and it is filled with optimism today because of a 24-0 lead for the Los Angeles Raiders. 5:23 to go in the fourth quarter. Qadre Ismail and Robert Smith will be the deep men for the kick by Jeff Jaeger.
You know, talk about the Raiders, talking to Al Davis on the field before the game. He was very, very confident that the young players on this team would develop and grow and be good players, and they had a good feeling about their talent, and justifiably so, because I think he's got a good young club.
Halfway in the end zone, Robert Smith. No further. Speaking of speed, the missile was in motion that time. McMahon with a little toss to Robert Smith, and he's barreled out of bounds. Terry McDaniel defending.
This kind of a game by the Raiders is a terrific confidence builder for this team. It's a young team, a lot of young players, and with a new quarterback, but they all verified their strong feeling, talking about Hostetler, that he's going to make the difference. They have great confidence in him, and he's certainly been very, very outstanding today, although you have to say that field position, time of possession, all of these things were a factor against the Minnesota Vikings.
That one may have been tipped. Anthony Carter got it. It's enough for a first down. That covers 17 yards. So McMahon is causing them to move the chains. Chicago ahead by 1. They have more time remaining than we do, so at the conclusion of our game, you'll be watching what looks like it might set up as an exciting finish to the game at Soldier Field. We understand that the Giants have just gone back ahead in that seesaw contest, 19-17 on a field goal. McMahon chased. Throws it halfway to the seats. Chester McLaughlin with the rush.
And the guy in the seats, he was the only guy that was open on that play, too.
Well, you talk about a guy moving. This guy, McLaughlin, weighs 310 pounds.
Yeah, look at the quickness and look at the balance and look at the way he popped through that hole. Played his collegiate football at the University of Miami in Florida.
McMahon is fine. Second down and 10. 24-0 the Raiders. Home field has been a concern for this team as McMahon flips one back out, and it is caught by Robert Smith, and he's sent out of bounds. But this well short of a first down, and I don't think it will even go as a completion. The rush came from Aaron Wallace. Torrin Doran was defending.
But I guarantee you, he's had to improvise an awful lot here this afternoon. Jim McMahon. The opposite of a game for the quarterback is to be able to go back into the pocket, step, throw, and follow through and have enough time to throw the ball. He hasn't had much time at all this afternoon.
3rd down and 10. Remember that sort of magical time that he had mentioned, 2.3 seconds. If he has that much time, he can get away. Well, he hasn't had a lot of those 2.3s. Complete. Chris Carter. And that's enough for a first down across the 50, a 14-yard completion for McMahon. Eddie Anderson and Patrick Bates on the coverage.
And the Raiders don't mind that at all. They're throwing the ball short and justifiably so because the defense is playing deep and giving them that kind of stuff. And as a result, they're running time off the clock. And that's what they want to do. They want to end this game with a score like it is. If they give another touchdown, they feel, so what? Look at all the room on the right side. There it is.
Completed to Steve Jordan. Jordan with enough for a first down. But as Hank mentioned, that's not the big concern for the Raiders. That was a 19-yarder. Eddie Anderson flipped him down. This game is presented by authority of the NFL, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Los Angeles Raiders, and the National Football League is prohibited. 1st and 10 for McMahon and the Vikings from the 34 of the Raiders. Robert Smith is the lone setback. He was hit, but he recovered and bowled forward to the 27. Aaron Wallace had the initial hit, and Howie Long got him.
Everett Lindsey, the left tackle, the young left tackle of the Minnesota Vikings, watch him, 61. He gets a good block on this play. There it is right there at the end of the play. You see the block. A good inside block on the defensive end.
2nd down and 4.
Take a look at Lindsey again. You're watching number 61.
Chris Carter was in motion, and McMahon gets some pressure. Does the slide. Anthony Smith was the one who applied the most pressure.
See, that's what happened. Now, he had a pretty good inside-outside position on Anthony Smith, but Smith is such a quick, fast reactor that even though that and the quarterback ran up the middle, he shed the block and went over and made the tackle. A great play by Anthony Smith.
It is 3rd and 5. Minnesota wanting some credibility out of this game, down by a whopping 24 points. They fake the reverse to Ismail. McMahon with the pass. Was it caught? Yes, it was, and Chris Carter has it.
And Townsend, number 93, was in hot pursuit for the backside. He got rid of the ball in good shape with that kind of pursuit coming to the rear.
12-yard gain.
Very rarely that you see the Minnesota Vikings play, and you don't see A.C. Carter playing a dominant role as far as receiving is concerned. I think in this game so far, he's only caught 2 passes, hasn't he?
That's right. So it's 1st and 10 from the 18. McMahon goes long, but overthrows Anthony Carter.
Well, we're just talking about Anthony. He had a chance that time, but the ball was thrown way over the top. Had no chance whatsoever to make the catch.
8:27 left in that game, 1:45 in ours, and so we'll be shifting to Chicago and Soldier Field for the conclusion of that one once our game is over.
You know, one thing that has to be observed here this afternoon, too, the Raiders in the past have really been basically a dominant man-for-man coverage team. They've kind of gone with the flow with regard to zone defenses. They're mixing it up a little bit, but they're playing a lot more zone defenses, so you don't get that many big plays like they used to anymore.
2nd and 10. Complete to the 5, Chris Carter, and maybe as far as the 3, but it's enough for a first down. 2 timeouts remaining per side, but Minnesota not using it right now. Clock moving with 1:25 to go. I'd mentioned home field. This has been a difficult place for the Raiders. In the last 10 games, they are just 5-5. Maybe their fans, I'm not sure that the players and coaches will, take an omen from the revitalization. The big revitalization you can see in this game is Jeff Hostetler. Fifth year as coach of these Raiders, Art Shell. 26th year with the organization. And he's got a lot to be very satisfied with today, although he's thinking about keeping that scoreboard clean on Minnesota's side. His team up 24-0.
Well, he'd like to have that happen, but I think basically he's tickled to death that his team played like they played this afternoon, and the only thing he's concerned about is winning the football game. And he's got to feel very, very good about the way his team dominated the Minnesota Vikings here this afternoon.
Randall McDaniel was in the backfield. The handoff went nowhere. So Robert Smith. That's the first time that McDaniel has been in the backfield all summer. Because he did not try that play at all in preseason.
That's kind of an obvious thing when he's back there. Why you kind of follow him, read him, and that's where the ball's going most of the time. If they had a pass to him from play action, he'd be wide open like somebody ran him out of the bleachers.
Will they try to crunch it in again? It's the lob. Overthrown. Steve Jordan just did not have enough reach.
Well, yeah, he'd had to have arms like Chamberlain to make that catch.
Might have been out of bounds, too, had he been able to nail it. Eddie Anderson was right on him in the coverage, but penalty flag is down.
Yeah, it looked like Anderson, they call a penalty on him, but let's see what they call. I'm not sure what happened.
55 seconds left in this one. Things were unsettling for Minnesota off the opening kickoff. Another Raiders penalty. Raiders picked up a loose ball off the kickoff, and it took very little time for Hostetler to find Brown from 17 yards.
Holding, 33 defense. First down.
There's a safety that time. Anderson, man-for-man coverage.
McDaniel remains in the backfield.
Look at that right side. He ought to be able to do something to the right. That's where he ought to do business.
That was Jordan in motion.
There he is, boys.
Roger Craig, touchdown.
And out to Roger Craig.
So the Vikings have avoided the humiliation of an opening game shutout. Roger Craig, who has been the better performer for this team all day in a losing cause, has cut his way in for 6.
Oh, he's a remarkable back. I think probably he's one of the best conditioned athletes in the National Football League, and most of them are. But he's been a hard worker, very demanding of himself, and has been a great credit to the game. Here you see it. Watch it to the right side. McDaniel out in front. And he sees the cavity, pops through there for the touchdown.
Revenge makes it 7. Raiders 24, Vikings 7 with 52 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, it's a good time to practice the kick, onside kick.
Let's check out the rest of the action in the National Football League on this opening day. 18 weeks to play the season, 16 games apiece, and the teams that are 1-0 include San Francisco and Steve Young on a strong day, Green Bay and Detroit, Kansas City and Joe Montana had a good day, threw for 2 touchdowns, Denver, Buffalo, Miami, the Philadelphia Eagles, and Cleveland. Well, earlier it looked as though Jeff Hostetler was going to be out of this one for at least a little while. A little while was only defined as 1 play. Vince Evans came in for 1, and Hostetler was right back out there again. That Chicago-New York Giant game has changed again. Chicago ahead 20-19 with 3:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Here we have 52 seconds remaining.
That Bear game has really been a taffy pull, hasn't it?
You had some of that last night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
A little saltwater taffy?
About 1.5 pounds of it.
The way you work out every day, you can do it. Onside kick. Juggled, but it appeared to be recovered by the Raiders. Elvis Patterson was the one who seemed to come up with it. And in 52 seconds of playing time, Elvis will leave the building. And he'll leave happy.
Here's the replay. Remember, it's got to go 10 yards. It really didn't even look like it went 10 yards.
Didn't look like it, no. But they spot this just inside the 45.
They have to go 10 yards for the kicking team to recover, but defensively they recover. So as a result, they have the ball. Patterson has the ball. They run out the clock, and this game is terminated.
Well, in this renovated Coliseum, the Raiders are going to be 1 for 1. You mentioned that stat. Of course, the Raiders, like all other teams, want to nail down a playoff berth.
They have to feel good about this game because they looked at a lot of people in preseason, and they really didn't accomplish much from a timing and overall execution standpoint. Didn't look too smooth. But I know that Art Shell and Al Davis, they felt strongly about the fact they had some good young people. They wanted to do everything they possibly could to look at those people, which they did. The execution suffered, but in the last game against the Rams, they started to come of age, and they were excellent here this afternoon.
They go to Seattle next Sunday night. In the meantime, they can rest and repair and get the rocket ready. For Hank Stram, I'm Mike Emmerich saying so long from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where the final score is the Raiders 24, the Vikings 7.